All right, welcome to the Tribute Lounge. I'm Shane Johnson.
I'm Mark Fawcett.
And this is the Season Ender Checklist. All right, Fozzie, so we're wrapping up this year. It's been a wicked year. We've had tons of guests. You built a border cross in the Yukon that looked like the most insane thing ever.
Yeah, combi cross, man. I was like bank slalom into cross, back into bank slalom.
We'll try to put that down
and
below.
And we didn't just have guests. I mean, like we had
the most insane guests on this show ever.
Full A-listers all the way through from different aspects of the sport. So it was really a great season.
Oh man, like learning from Torstein about what he's doing with Capita to your interview with Leanne. Like we've done so much rad shit this year. It's been amazing. But
Jeremy Jones.
Jay
Stone. Yeah,
do we keep going?
Nerdy.
Co-card. We had Cicerelli. He won natural selection.
I know. Amazing.
Pretty rad. So yeah, just a great crew and expanding on the ideas of what this show is all the time. But the biggest thing we do is talk about tech and talk about our gear. And this is important right now because we're putting our gear away. And you and I are both seeing people do the kookiest shit with their gear.
Well, it's just so easy because you know,
forget.
often by this time of year, you've trudged those last bunch of days, you've snuck it all in, and then your bike's sitting there, and the weather's getting nice, and then that stuff just stays in the trunk of your car or is in your basement, zipped up.
Dude, I've had moldy boots upstairs. People
like growing
can you
green. It's like a science project, man. Full on gross in there.
I know.
So
should we start with boots?
Let's start with boots. I would say all that soft good stuff. Anything with textile in it in general, dry it. Open up that bag. Empty it. Your jackets, your gloves, your hats, your goggles even. I've seen those. The like foam get all weird.
Yeah.
Like really dry before you store it away. Goggles in a goggle bag, of course. I put goggles just to like condense stuff. I like put my goggles in my goggle bag, and I put those down in my helmet. And it just gives you a little extra layer of protection for those. I mean, especially if you have like $100 lens on them. Like, I take good care of that stuff.
Yeah, no, that's important. And when you're drying your boots, you're separating everything. I put it on the back deck. I get a ton of sun, so I'm getting the good UV. I'm getting things mega dry.
Yeah.
Mega dry. So by 5 p.m. now, I know it's good. Drop my liners back in.
I'm into the sun too. I don't know if it really works.
I think so. Your boots need vitamin D. Everything needs vitamin D. Vitamin D.
In theory, the UVs kill the bacteria, but
so I do it with my jacket, my pants. My first layer goes out. Everything's on the drying rack.
I do the same. I do the same. But yeah, boots, like you said, liners out of the boots, insoles out of the liners, and like I leave them out there for like 2 days usually to like really get them dry, and then put them back in. And then once you put your liner and your insole back in, then what do you do?
Well, you lock it up exactly as that boot came out of the box. You want that to look exactly, and I mean, like you said earlier, we were chatting about this upstairs. The plastics, if everything's blown out like this and your laces aren't done, that's going to be the form of your exterior when you get your boot for next season.
For next November.
You're now suddenly trying to work it in. So just don't do that. Lock it up. Get it dialed again. Lock it up.
100%.
Yeah.
I see that one all the time. People's garages, and things look pretty organized, and then just like all sloppy and falling apart. Tighten everything up for sure.
I usually pop my bindings off my boards because I have a place in my garage and I just stack everything, and that's my thing. There could be a little bit of moisture content in the inserts. Probably not, but there could be. This way, it's just another thing. It's going to be dry. It's not going to rust.
You'd be surprised how long water will last under your bindings. Like it'll be days later, you'll take your bindings off in the middle of winter, what have you, and there's water under there. So,
pop them off.
I'm a big fan of that as well. Easier to stack if you have a quiver of boards. Easier to stack them up without your bindings on.
Exactly.
And do that in theory. So the real tech guys, they at the very least, loosen their bindings before they wax. Most of them take them off. Just so that you actually remember to tighten them back up, because we've seen that happen a lot. So take those bindings off, then you go for your wax.
Yep, exactly. So now moving on to waxing the board. This is important. You don't just put your board away. Storage wax is a thing. I don't care what you use. Well, I do care what you use, actually. Like, I like the One Ball J Base Prep. This is good. This is a great storage wax. But you can use anything. You can use, I mean, the guys from Board Butter, doesn't matter.
Swix makes a great base wax.
Yep, but you've got to just seal her up and then leave it. You're not scraping this. You're leaving it.
There's one thing you are scraping.
Well, yes.
The edges.
Yes.
So what can happen, this would be the same as, like, it's really difficult to paint, if you're painting a vehicle, painting that metal, it's got to be like 100% moisture free, or you're just sealing it in there. So unless you live in like Mojave,
no, you're right. You could be locking in moisture.
You totally
and then you
can
rust.
lock moisture in there and rust. So do scrape just the edges, the wax off the edges before you store it, and then the rest of it, just leave her on there.
And this is the other thing. Our snowboards are made of wood. So guitar players out there, you guys are with me right away. This is wood. You don't just store it in the dankest, dampest area of your basement, because it still has the ability to bring in some of that. Store it somewhere that is like nominal conditions. You know, down here where we are is good. It's not super moist. It's not super hot. Just be conscious of that.
Pretty wet down here 2 springs ago.
We did have a flood down
About
here,
this deep?
But now it's not. But it's just something, it's not like your snowboard's necessarily gonna warp, but maybe it'll be a percentage heavy next year because it's sucked in some moisture from who knows? But just be conscious of where you're putting your board. It's just super important to really think about these things. And the outerwear, like I said earlier, that's another one. I've pulled out manky outerwear when I was in my teens, not thinking throwing it in a backpack. It's like,
it's expensive stuff. I mean, like,
think about your gear.
Think about like how folks treat like a nice suit or a nice dress or something like that are half the price of your, you know, jacket and bib pants. So put it away, dry, keep it in a good spot. Coat hangers. I mean, the Gore-Tex is pretty resilient, but I don't like pointy little thin coat hangers.
Starts to make weird indents in your fabric.
Broad or fold it up nice and proper, put it in a Tupperware.
Folded, Tupperware, same thing, sealed, but not in the dankest part of your basement. This is still fabric, and this is going to absorb things too. So just be conscious of that. We get boots in, like, the boots are the biggest thing. We'll get boots in the start of the season, and people need a new liner because they've left it or whatever it is. Like, this is how you avoid all that. So that's kind of our season wrap-up for you guys. Next year, we've just got bangers laid out. We'll start again in August. We kind of take the summers off. I get on the motorcycles, he gets on the mountain bike. I start throwing some flies. Fozzie, you just don't stop mountain biking, basically.
Or foiling.
He doesn't come fishing with me, unfortunately. But, you know, we sort of take the summers off. Morrison goes tree planting, and then we'll be back here August, dropping new episodes. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming next year. Still supported by BALDFACE, Cole, Stoke the Fire, and NBC over there. And there's, again, I'm going to say it, a lot of people don't subscribe. It sure would help us because then we can keep doing it. But this is going to be the last time I even bring it up. What else?
Until August.
Until August. With that note, you guys, thanks so much for the support, and we will see you very soon.
Bye, y'all.
All right. Summertime. See you next season.